Good morning, afternoon, evening. Today, I want to talk about something that can change the way you live your life. What you should never accept from anyone. Because the truth is, life isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you refuse to tolerate. 1. Disrespect it. Start small. A rude comment, a dismissive attitude, a joke that's not really a joke. And before you know it, you're letting people treat you like you don't matter. But hear me loud and clear. If someone can't respect you, they don't deserve access to you. 2. Doubt in your potential. People love to project their own fears onto you. That's too hard. You're not smart enough. People like us don't do things like that. Stop. Their doubts are not your destiny. If you accept their words, you'll live their life, not yours. 3. Conditional love. If someone only values you when you meet their expectations, that's not love, that's control. Real love doesn't come with terms and conditions. Don't chase approval. You are enough as you are. 4. Betrayal disguised as loyalty. Some people call themselves loyal, but the moment you need them, they disappear. Others stick around but drain you, manipulate you, or hold you back. Loyalty isn't about how long someone stays, it's about how they show up. Choose wisely. 5. A life that's less than what you deserve. This is the big one. Too many people settle for jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, dreams they bury. Why? Because they've been told that's just life. That's not life. That's a lie. That's a lie. Stop accepting less. Final words. You don't need permission to protect your peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. So, from this day forward, promise yourself one thing. Never accept what doesn't serve you. Because the moment you do, that's the moment your real life begins. Thank you. Your worth is not up for debate. It never has been, and it never will be. Yet, every single day, people allow others to determine how much they matter. They let someone else's opinion, validation, or lack of approval dictate their self-esteem. They let a boss, a friend, a partner, or even a stranger decide what they deserve. But here's the truth. Your value is not something that can be measured by the way others treat you. It is not something that fluctuates based on how much love, respect, or attention you receive. It is not something that decreases when someone walks away or increases when someone stays. Your worth is inherent. It was there the day you were born, and it will be there until the day you take your last breath. The problem is, society has trained people to believe that their worth is negotiable, that it is something they must constantly prove. From a young age, people are taught to seek approval. Good grades mean you're smart. Compliments mean you're beautiful. Promotions mean you're successful. The world conditions people to tie their self-worth to external factors, to numbers, titles, achievements, and other people's opinions. But what happens when those things disappear? What happens when the grades slip, the compliments stop, the promotions don't come? Does your worth disappear with them? Absolutely not. No amount of rejection, failure, or criticism can take away from who you are. But when you let others define your worth, you become a prisoner to their opinions. You find yourself shrinking to fit into boxes you were never meant to fit into. You start over-explaining, over-apologizing, and over-compromising, all to be accepted. And before you know it, you're living for them, not for you. The truth is, some people will never see your worth, no matter what you do. You could be the kindest, most hardworking, most genuine person in the world, and there will still be someone who tries to tear you down. And do you know why? Because the way people treat you is a reflection of them, not you. A person who cannot see their own worth will struggle to see yours. A person who is insecure will try to make you feel insecure. A person who is unhappy with themselves will try to bring you down to their level. That is not your burden to carry. You do not need everyone to like you. You do not need everyone to approve of you. You do not need everyone to recognize your value. The only person who truly needs to understand your worth is you. Because the moment you do, everything changes. When you know your worth, you stop tolerating disrespect. You stop begging for love. You stop chasing people who don't care if you stay or go. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You start setting boundaries. You start walking away from things that drain you. You start showing up for yourself the way you always wanted others to show up for you. Loving yourself is not arrogance. Knowing your worth is not ego. It is the foundation of everything. It determines the way you allow yourself to be treated. It influences the opportunities you pursue. It affects the way you see yourself every single day. And when you finally decide that your worth is not up for debate, you free yourself from the need for constant validation. So stop letting people who don't value you make you question your value. Stop giving people power over your happiness. Stop waiting for the world to recognize something that has been inside you all along. Your worth does not need to be proven. It does not need to be earned. It simply is. And the moment you embrace that, you step into the life you are meant to live. One where you no longer seek permission to exist fully, boldly, and unapologetically. Disrespect is never about you. It is always a reflection of the person who is giving it, not the one receiving it. Yet too many people take disrespect personally. They internalize it. They start questioning themselves, wondering what they did wrong, why they weren't treated better, or what they could have changed. They replay the words, the tone, the actions over and over again, searching for answers. But here's the truth. Disrespect is not a response to your worth. It is a revelation of someone else's character. The way someone treats you is a mirror of who they are. A kind person speaks with kindness. A secure person treats others with respect. A person who is at peace does not go out of their way to bring others down. But a person who is bitter, insecure, or full of resentment will try to project those feelings onto others. And if you are not careful, you will start believing that their treatment of you says something about you. You will start thinking that maybe you weren't good enough, that maybe you didn't deserve better. But let me make this clear. How someone speaks to you, how they act toward you, how they choose to treat you, has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. Think about it. If someone lashes out at you, if they insult you, dismiss you, belittle you, or try to make you feel small, does that say anything about who you are? Or does it say everything about who they are? People who truly respect themselves do not feel the need to put others down. People who are comfortable in their own skin do not need to tear others apart. People who are truly strong do not use their words or actions to make someone else feel weak. So when someone disrespects you, what you are witnessing is not a reflection of your shortcomings, but an exposure of their own. But here's where many people get it wrong. They think that if they just prove themselves, if they just work harder, if they just explain themselves better, they can earn respect from someone who refuses to give it. They believe that if they tolerate it long enough, the other person will eventually change. But that's not how it works. Respect is not something you should have to earn from people who don't value you. It's something that should be given freely, simply because you are a human being who deserves it. You cannot control how someone else behaves, but you can control what you accept. The moment you allow disrespect to continue, you are teaching people that it is okay to treat you that way. You are setting a standard that says this is acceptable, but the truth is, it is not. You do not have to tolerate being talked down to. You do not have to tolerate being ignored, belittled, or made to feel like less than you are. You do not have to explain why you deserve basic decency. If someone refuses to give you respect, that is not a sign for you to work harder for it. That is a sign for you to walk away. And let's be clear, Walking away is not weakness. Setting boundaries is not rudeness. Refusing to engage with disrespect is not avoidance. It is self-respect. It is understanding that your energy, your time, and your peace are too valuable to be wasted on people who refuse to treat you with basic kindness. It is choosing to surround yourself with people who see your worth without you having to prove it. People will test you. They will push limits. They will see how much they can get away with. And if you do not stand firm in what you allow, they will keep pushing. This is why it is so important to recognize that disrespect is not about you. Because when you understand that, you stop taking it personally. You stop letting it shake your confidence. You stop allowing it to dictate your self-worth. You realize that their attitude, their actions, their words belong to them, not to you. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this. You do not have to accept it. You do not have to absorb it. You do not have to carry it with you. Let it stay where it belongs, with them. Because the way people treat you is their choice. The way you respond is yours. Limits exist to be broken, not obeyed. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that there is a barrier you cannot cross. But what if that barrier isn't real? What if it was placed there by people who never had the courage to push past their own? What if every limit you've accepted was nothing more than someone else's fear, disguised as advice? From the moment we are born, we are taught limits. We are told what we can and cannot do, what is realistic and what is impossible, what we should aim for and what we should forget about. We hear it from our parents, our teachers, our friends, even from ourselves. People like us don't do things like that. Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. That's not how the world works. And without even realizing it, we begin to accept these statements as facts. Yeah. We begin to shrink ourselves to fit within the walls that others have built for us. But here's the truth. Every single thing that has ever been achieved in this world was done by someone who refused to obey limits. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story was written by someone who looked at a barrier and said, I don't accept that. The people who change the world are not the ones who follow the rules blindly. They are the ones who question them. They are the ones who see possibilities where others see obstacles. They are the ones who choose to believe in their own potential, even when no one else does. Limits are nothing more than the boundaries of other people's experiences. When someone tells you that something is impossible, what they are really saying is that they have never done it. When someone tells you to be realistic, they are really telling you to stay within the limits of their reality. But their reality is not yours. Their experiences are not yours. Their fears are not yours. Just because something has never been done before does not mean it cannot be done. It simply means no one has been bold enough to do it yet. Think about every moment in history when someone broke a limit that was once believed to be unbreakable. There was a time when running a mile in under 4 minutes was thought to be physically impossible, until Roger Bannister did it. There was a time when human flying was a fantasy, until the Wright brothers made it real. There was a time when sending a message across the world in seconds was unimaginable, until the internet was created. What do all these moments have in common? Someone refused to accept the limits that the world placed in front of them. Someone believed in something bigger than what was already known. Someone decided that instead of obeying the rules, they would rewrite them. And this isn't just about history. This is about you. What limits have you accepted in your own life? What dreams have you buried because someone told you they were too big? What goals have you abandoned because someone said they were unrealistic? What excuses have you made for why you can't go further than you have? Because that's all limits really are. Excuses. They are the walls we build around ourselves to protect us from failure, from discomfort, from risk. But the problem is those same walls don't just keep out failure, they keep out success. They keep out growth. They keep out every possibility of becoming more than what you are today. You have two choices in life. You can obey the limits placed in front of you, or you can challenge them. You can accept what the world tells you is possible, or you can decide for yourself. The people who succeed, the people who truly live, are the ones who refuse to let someone else's doubts define their destiny. They are the ones who push past fear, past failure, past every excuse that tells them to stop. And they are the ones who look back and realize that the only thing that was ever holding them back was the belief that they couldn't go further. So whatever it is that you think is impossible, challenge it. And I can tell you, whatever it is that you've been told you can't do, prove them wrong. Whatever fear is keeping you small, face it. Because limits do not exist to be obeyed. They exist to test you, to push you, to see if you are willing to break through them. And when you do, you will realize something powerful. The only real limits are the ones you refuse to break. Loyalty is not slavery. It is a choice, not a life sentence. Yet, too often people confuse the two. They believe that once they commit to someone, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a job, or even a family bond, they must endure anything that comes with it. They convince themselves that loyalty means staying no matter what, tolerating mistreatment, sacrificing their happiness, and putting their own needs aside. But that is not loyalty. That is bondage. True loyalty is built on mutual respect, trust, and appreciation. It is a two-way street. It is not something that should demand your silence in the face of disrespect, your endurance in the face of betrayal, or your sacrifice in the face of neglect. Being loyal does not mean allowing yourself to be used. It does not mean staying in situations that drain you, break you, or make you feel small. The world has glorified the idea of sticking it out, of proving commit no matter the cost. People are taught that walking away is a sign of weakness, that setting boundaries is selfish, that putting himself first is betrayal. But here's the truth. Loyalty should never come at the expense of your dignity. It should never be a weapon used against you, keeping you trapped in situations that no longer serve you. Look at the relationships in your life. Are you staying because you feel valued and respected? Or are you staying because you feel obligated, afraid, or guilty? There is a difference between being loyal to a person and being loyal to the idea of them. Too often people hold on to relationships that no longer exist. They stay because of history, because of promises, because of the version of someone they once knew. But loyalty to the past should never come at the cost of your present or your future. And it's not just in personal relationships. Think about jobs, careers, and workplaces. How many people stay in jobs that drain them, under bosses who do not appreciate them, giving their time and energy to companies that would replace them in a heartbeat? They tell themselves they must be loyal. They convince themselves that if they just work harder, sacrifice more, prove themselves over and over again, they will be valued. But loyalty to a job should not mean sacrificing your well-being. Staying somewhere that does not value you is not dedication. It is self-neglect. The same applies to friendships. A loyal friend is not someone who sticks around just because of years spent together. Loyalty in friendship does not mean tolerating disrespect, dishonesty, or one-sided effort. True loyalty is mutual. It is based on support, honesty, and growth. If a friendship no longer aligns with who you are, if it becomes a place of negativity rather than encouragement, if it begins to drain you rather than uplift you, then leaving is not disloyalty. It is self-respect. Family, too, often becomes a place where loyalty is misinterpreted as obligation. Many people feel trapped by toxic family dynamics, convinced that because they share blood, they must endure toxic behaviors, manipulation, or emotional abuse. But loyalty to family does not mean accepting mistreatment. You do not owe anyone endless chances. You do not have to tolerate disrespect just because it comes from someone you are related to. Loyalty should never feel like a prison. It should never feel like chains wrapped around your wrists, pulling you into situations that break you. If someone expects your loyalty but does not offer respect, if they take from you without giving, if they use your loyalty as a way to control you rather than support you, it is manipulation. It is manipulation. True loyalty is chosen freely, given to those who earn it, and reciprocated with love, kindness, and respect. It is not about endurance. It is about alignment. It is about standing by those who stand by you, about offering support where it is appreciated, about building relationships that empower you rather than drain you. It is about knowing when to stay and knowing when to walk away. Because at the end of the day, loyalty should never cost you your peace. And it should never cost you your self-respect. It should never cost you your happiness. And if it does, then it is not loyalty. It is a trap. And you do not have to stay in it. Your worth is not up for debate. Disrespect is a reflection of them, not you. Limits exist to be broken, not obeyed. Loyalty is not slavery. These are not just statements. They are principles that can redefine the way you live your life. Too many people spend their lives seeking validation from others, internalizing disrespect, accepting limitations that were never real, and mistaking endurance for loyalty. But you are not here to shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. You are not here to prove your worth to those who refuse to see it. You are not here to obey the limits placed upon you by a world that fears boldness. And you are certainly not here to mistake change for commitment. You are here to stand firm in your value, to walk away from what no longer serves you, to challenge what others call impossible, and to give your loyalty only to those who respect and appreciate it. The moment you stop accepting anything less, everything changes. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop seeking permission. You stop betraying yourself for the sake of others. And most importantly, you start living the life you were meant to live. One where you move with confidence, protect your peace, and never settle for less than you deserve. So let this be your reminder. Your value is not negotiable. Your boundaries are not optional. Your potential is limitless. And your loyalty should never come at the expense of your freedom. Choose yourself. Choose your worth. Choose to break free from anything that holds you back. Because the life you want, it begins the moment you do.